Welcome again to Orientation Week. Now I know you are ready, you are raring to go, and it can take a while to get those licenses for that full version of Cinema 4D over from Maxon. So in the meantime, want to set you up with a method, a way to hit the ground running using a different version of Cinema 4D, and it's actually going to be using the Cinema 4D Lite version that, if you didn't know, you actually have if you own a Creative Cloud subscription. So if you have a Creative Cloud subscription, you have a copy of this Cinema 4D Lite that you can use to complete your work for Orientation Week. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in and find out how we can go ahead and use Cinema 4D Lite. All right, so let's show how to actually open up Cinema 4D Lite. And it's a little bit weird, it's unintuitive, but how you open it is actually through After Effects. So when you jump into After Effects, you're gonna go to your File menu, you're gonna go to New, and you're gonna choose Maxon Cinema 4D file. And what that's gonna do is that's gonna prompt you to save out a Cinema 4D file. I'm just gonna leave this untitled, but always name your things. That's a big thing. But you see that we just launched Cinema 4D Lite. You can see, here we go. I already have a cube in here, okay? So let's just delete that. But basically, you have all the tools that you need to complete your assignment for Orientation Week. So all of your primitive objects, all that good stuff, all the materials that you need to complete it. And in another video in Orientation Week, I'll show you how to render out of the full version of Cinema 4D. But actually, one of the gotchas with Cinema 4D Lite is you actually can't render out the way you would in the normal version. You can't render through Cinema 4D. What you actually have to do is save out your project. So let's just say I have an amazing project here, like a sphere in a cone. It's amazing, I know. We're gonna save this just to make sure we don't lose any of our work that we made so far. And what you're gonna do is, when you're done with your project and you wanna render this out, you're gonna save it, you're gonna jump back into After Effects. And if you don't see your Cinema 4D file that you automatically created in your project here, just go to File and Import and find your Cinema 4D file. So that's just the untitled Cinema 4D file that I just created. So once you save that out, it'll actually update this like any other piece of footage, okay? And what we can do is just drag and drop this into our composition, and you're gonna see that this is now inside of our After Effects interface, okay? Now right now it's set at our composition size, so you want to make this an HD render, so we'll just do 1920 by 1080, and you'll see this will then update. Something else you'll want to do is make sure that you're also working in that HD composition size in Cinema 4D. So let's go ahead, jump back into Cinema 4D Lite. Let's go ahead and adjust our render settings here. So I just clicked on this little button with the gear and the clapper, and this will bring up our render settings. If you go to output, we can go ahead and just type in 1920 by 1080, and you'll see that that updated, and we can just go ahead and use the one key to recenter and basically choose what, compose our shot. And again, we'll save this out again, and once we jump back into After Effects, you'll see that this will look exactly like exactly like the viewport that we had in Cinema 4D, okay? Because we're now matching the resolution size. So what you need to do now is, if we go in here, let's just apply some materials really quickly, something like this, and let's just duplicate this and add another material. Again, this is the most amazing project I've ever done. Let's save that out, and let's go back into After Effects. You'll see that'll update. You'll see these grid lines, and that's because we're actually using a quicker view here, so a quicker preview. So we're using the software so we can see those grid lines back there, but if we use Standard Final, we're actually going to use the fully rendered version of our project, and that's going to then show up in our After Effects comp here with this Standard Final shading. So this is your final render version. We were just using a preview before. You can see that, we got aliasing going on. We're going to change this to Standard Final, and if you want, you can go ahead and let's just add a solid here for the background. Again, this is so amazing. You'll see that alpha will actually carry through. And this is where you can then go ahead and render this still frame out from After Effects like you would any other kind of composition. So you can go Save Frame As, File, and just set up your render settings the way you would. Save a PNG file or whatever. We're not dealing with animation yet, but this is basically how you would do it. So you set up your project file in Cinema 4D, apply all your materials, build your scene, save it, import that file if you don't have that Cinema 4D file already loaded from it just being automatically added. Go and find it, import it, going file, import that Cinema 4D file, drag and drop it into a comp. Make sure that your Cineware setting, the Cineware effect, this is basically just the effect that allows you to view your Cinema 4D project inside of After Effects. Make sure that the renderer is set to final quality, so not draft, not software, but final quality, so you can get that nice, crisp, final quality, full quality render, full resolution render, and then just, again, save this out as a still file. So it's that easy, and you have all you need to complete this work in orientation week, and again, until you get that full version of Cinema 4D and start rock and rolling with the rest of the course.